So let's talk about habits. Are we always completely conscious of our actions and decisions every day? Maybe we are on the surface, but there's a magnetic force that's constantly pulling us toward doing the same things over and over again. And once we do those things over and over again, over a period of months and years, that magnet pulls stronger and stronger. Sometimes this force is a good thing. There are likely things you do every day that are great for your family, health, and business. You do these things without really thinking about them. But there are other things that aren't so great for your health, family, and business. These things consistently lead to bad results, and you aren't sure how to stop them. This force I'm talking about is called habit. We all have good habits and bad habits. We have habits that have been around since childhood and habits that are newer. We have habits we're proud of and habits we're not so proud of. We have habits we're comfortable with and habits we're not so comfortable with. The problem with that last one is that sometimes we become far too comfortable with poor habits simply because they've been a part of us for so long. There are lots of things that go into creating a habit. You've consciously adopted some habits. Others have snuck up on you, for better or for worse. Sometimes you identify a habit you know is bad news, and you work really hard to change it. The problem comes when that force is just too strong, and you can't seem to get away from it, no matter how hard you try. Habit is a very tricky thing. The people who you're jealous of, who consistently seem happy and successful, are that way due to their habits. It's arguably much easier for some people to develop good habits than others. It doesn't matter what your habits are right now. You can work to change them. That's a key word, work. Changing habits doesn't come easy. Habits become a part of you. You fall prey to them without thinking. You can develop new habits. Habits are the things you do without thinking about them. They become part of what you naturally do or what take very little effort to do. You have to consciously change a habit at first. You'll likely have many ups and downs along the way because those old, ingrained habits will try to take over like a magnetic force. Over time, the new habit takes hold and it gets easier and easier. Then you'll naturally fall into a pattern and that habit will become a true habit. Once you've fixed or adopted one positive habit, you can focus on the next one. That's because we can only focus on so much at one time. Changing habits happens little by little. Over time, you can become one of those people with naturally wonderful habits. It can take 30 days or more to change a habit or to develop a new habit. I know you feel like you can just choose to change and make it happen, but your own history and my own history shows that's not the case. It's important to come up with a plan for changing or adding one habit over the next 30 days. Focus on just one. It's not easy to change multiple habits at a time and can really backfire. The more you do something, the closer it comes to becoming a habit. 30 days is a great time frame where you can really make great progress on developing or changing a habit. Never give up. If there's a habit you have that bothers you, figure out a game plan so that you can change it. Isolate that habit and do whatever you can to really focus on changing it and replacing it with a new and better habit. Look at the people you admire. What daily habits do they have? One at a time, focus on adopting those positive habits. Review your habits every once in a while. This will really be a lifelong process and journey of self-discovery. No one is perfect and no one has perfect habits, but you can work to better yourself. You can make life easier for yourself by developing positive habits. Right now, your negative habits are really making things challenging for you. They're making it harder for you to work well, achieve much, and be happy. Better habits lead to happiness, success, and better outcomes all the way around. Expect to have many ups and downs, especially with tricky habits that you previously believed to be a part of you, like procrastination, for example. Be patient with yourself and try to look at old problems in new ways. Habit change is a challenge, but it's really worth it. Stick with it no matter what, especially when you know that adopting a certain habit could really change your life. There's a huge part of habit change that people often neglect to think about, the fear of failure and the fear of success. Why should you try to change a bad habit if you've tried and failed dozens of times before? Why should you try to change if it's going to be really uncomfortable, different, and weird if you succeed? Your whole view of yourself has to change, whether you succeed or fail. It almost seems like it's not worth it. It's time to move past that mindset. It's a huge part of what's really holding you back. Many of us have an ingrained fear of failure. We're comfortable with who we are right now and what we're doing, even if we're not perfect. There's a comfort in familiarity, even if it's familiarity with constant misery. Still, there's always something that needs to change, and that nags at us. No one is perfect. There are always things we wish we were doing better. That nagging grows stronger. You feel that pull to change, but you're comfortable in your misery because it fits in with your view of yourself as a person. Plus, the fear of failure grows stronger the more you take action. We all know that very few people actually see the lasting change they want to see, right? Why try it if it's going to be so difficult? Again, change is uncomfortable, even good change. We have it ingrained in ourselves that we're supposed to be a certain way as a person. We have thoughts and visions about ourselves that have probably held true since childhood. If you believe you have a certain bad habit as an ingrained personality flaw, you might try to change but not believe that you can actually change or that you really, truly need to. We've gotten this far in life this way, right? That, in a way, is the opposite problem, the fear of success. If you change, you'll be different as a person, and that's uncomfortable. It's no wonder people are so resistant to changing their habits. We have to deal with the fear of failure and the fear of success. Your life will change in major ways if you can break these bad habits and develop new ones. That's a really scary thought for a lot of people. This is likely true for you, even if you're not aware of it. You might have tried to change a certain habit over and over again, and you failed every time. That's really discouraging. That's enough to make you want to throw in the towel altogether. Yet, there's something that drives you to keep trying. Unfortunately, that drive doesn't usually carry through to success. That is, it doesn't carry through to success unless you have a surefire strategy that's going to keep you going for the long haul. If you're not sure the fear of failure drives you, consider this. What would happen if you declared to all your friends and family members that you are, without a doubt, going to change a particular habit of yours? You feel a little nervous, especially if they laugh at you or roll their eyes because they've heard it all before. And that's in the beginning. The beginning of habit change is when you feel all fresh and good. You feel like this is the time that you're going to make it happen. It always seems easier to change in the beginning, but it gets harder and harder as time goes on. And to interrupt the thought of your habit change just a bit, when a friend or family member of yours tells you that they are going to change one of their bad habits, think of this lesson and don't laugh at them or roll your eyes. Give them the most encouragement possible, knowing how tough it is on them. Now, back to you. How does it make you feel that your friends and family members might see you fail? How does it make you feel that you might fail again? I'm sure that makes you feel terrible. And even if you don't realize it right now, that feeling might be enough to hold you back from changing for good. That feeling of impending failure might be enough to stop you from trying to change your habits at all. None of us want to fail, but the inevitable fact is that you'll sometimes fail, and that's okay. Bad habits are already causing you to fail over and over again. You're failing to eat the right foods. You're failing to start that new side business. You're failing to get your work done on time. You're failing to get enough sleep. You're failing to do so many things. But there's a difference between failing at things you're comfortable and familiar with and failing at things you're not comfortable with. You're used to yourself being overweight and procrastinating, but you're not used to the idea of yourself being thin and productive. And if you could get used to those things, you're too terrified that you have to admit defeat if you try. Changing your habits means seeing some huge differences in your life. You're dealing with the uncomfortable feelings that can stem from that, along with the uncomfortable feelings that you might fail. That's something you're going to have to face head on. The good news is that once you acknowledge that you do have a fear of failure and possibly a fear of success, you can quickly overcome it. You can persevere and find lasting change in spite of it all. Even if you don't successfully banish those 20 pounds when you said you would, or even if it takes you longer to help your family achieve financial freedom, you'll learn not to count those things as failures, because at least you're trying. In my opinion, as long as you're taking daily steps toward improving your habits and working toward your goals, you're succeeding rather than failing. It's time for you to experience a mindset switch. Instead of considering the lack of success a failure, you consider the lack of trying to change a failure. Yes, you'll experience bumps in the road. Some days you feel a lot more confident than other days, but there's nothing that's going to hold you back. When you develop new habits and experience a new mindset, there's no way you can truly fail. You'll have to deal with the uncomfortable feelings that surround change. That's inevitable, and you just have to get used to it. But you won't have to deal with a sense of failure, because you're going to look at failure in a whole new light. There are so many people who don't try to change at all because they're afraid they're going to fail. They don't feel that pull to change and better themselves like you do. It's so much easier to just stick with what you're familiar with, but failing to try is failing. Trying to change for the better is not failing. Trying to develop new habits to better your life and yourself is a huge, huge win. I think with that mindset, you find it easier to change than you ever have before. It's time to examine your feelings on this topic. Are you afraid you'll fail at habit change? What specifically scares you? Have you tried to change a dozen times before, seemingly failing each time? It doesn't matter. That's all in the past. You can learn from your mistakes and move forward in amazing ways. Today's the day you're going to feel confident and excited about all the wonderful changes that are to come. It might be a little uncomfortable and scary, but the result of getting to live the life you want to live is very much worth it. How do you talk to yourself about your habits, successes, and failures? Do you tend to beat yourself up when you fall short? I think, to a certain extent, that we all do. But if you're constantly berating yourself and feeling sorry for yourself, then the chances are good that you're setting yourself up for failure. It's important to start monitoring your internal dialogue. When you fail to complete a project on time, you say things to yourself like, "Great job, dummy, you stick at this." You're not alone in those thoughts. It's time, though, to change how you speak to yourself. It's important to speak differently to yourself if you want to change your habits for the better. You need to give yourself a break sometimes. Life really isn't all that serious. You're a good person. Do you know how I know you're a good person? Because you're here now, hearing about habit change. You're destined and determined to change yourself for the better forever. I'll bet that if you could see all the negative things you tell yourself every day written down, it would make you sick. As it is, these thoughts are probably fleeting. They run through you, and you hardly acknowledge them. Unfortunately, these negative thoughts build up and leave a big stink pile on your mindset and enthusiasm. The irony is that you have this negative self-talk out of habit. You're used to telling yourself these things. You're used to feeling this way about the things you do and don't do. Today, I want you to start paying attention to your internal dialogue. Is it mostly good self-talk, or is it mostly negative self-talk? Do you constantly tell yourself that you're fat, ugly, and undesirable? Do you tell yourself that you're absolutely terrible at your job and that everyone's going to hate what you do? Or do you pat yourself on the back for a job well done? Do you think to yourself that you have a ton of value and that people are lucky to have you working for them? Do you tell yourself you're a kick-butt boss or business owner? Do you look in the mirror and notice the positives? If you don't do those things, then that's a huge problem. The more negative your self-talk, the less likely you are to follow through and change your habits. If you don't believe that you have worth and that you're a strong and capable person, it's going to be difficult for you to change your habits. One of the best things you can do is figure out where all of this negativity stems from. For many people, it stems from their childhood. Maybe you had a difficult childhood, or you never got over the angst that you felt in your teenage years. Maybe your negative self-talk comes from some of the things you've done in your life, the major mistakes you've made, or maybe it's just that you hung out or around with people in your formative years that love to put people down just for the fun of it. I had such a problem myself. Some of the most influential people in my life talked down to me on occasion. My grandmother, a priest, some teachers and bullies at school. I got over it, and so can you. I believe you know that you're a good person. I believe you know that you have worth. I think you just have trouble bringing that to the surface sometimes. I know it's easier said than done, but if you want to have true and lasting change, then you need to decide to treat yourself better. Talk to yourself the right way. Praise yourself and focus on what's good about you. If you're able to do that, you'll find it a lot easier to develop positive habits. If you focus on the good and stop berating yourself for the bad all the time, you'll find that better things come out of you. Nothing good comes from beating yourself up all the time. Nothing good comes from telling yourself that you're worthless and that you're destined to fail. But a whole lot of good comes from treating yourself well and looking for the positive. You're on a path towards living a better and happier life. This starts with talking to yourself better and treating yourself better. You're an awesome, incredible person who's going to go on to do bigger and better things than you're doing right now. You can't do that if you're crying in the corner of your mind. You can do that if you're lifting yourself up, feeling confident, and feeling strong and ready to tackle anything that comes your way. Negative self-talk is just another form of self-defeat, and you just can't let that happen to you. You won't let that happen to you. It can take around 21 to 30 days or more of conscious, concentrated effort to change a habit. Get over that hump, and then it becomes so much easier. The human mind is complicated, and habits are a feature of survival in many cases. The thing is that we have so much on our plates in modern society that it's easy to short-circuit and fall into bad patterns. It's hard to overcome patterns that have become well-worn with time. It's worth it, though. I know you feel like you can just choose to change and make it happen, but your own history shows that that's not the case. It's important to come up with a plan for changing one habit over the next 30 days. Focus on just one. It's not easy to change multiple habits at a time and can really backfire. The more you do something, the closer it comes to becoming a habit. 30 days is a great time frame where you can really make great progress on developing or changing a habit. Think about what's really negatively affecting your life or business. What would make a huge difference if you could change or eliminate it? What stands out the most and would have the biggest impact if corrected? Choose just one habit that you're going to focus on for now. You can always revisit the other things later on. Habit change is a slow and steady wins the race sort of thing. Work on that habit and that habit alone over the next 30 days and beyond if you still struggle with it. You want to change your habits because you have certain goals. You need to identify both your habits and your goals so that you can successfully do that. After you identify what you want and how you're going to get there, visualization can help you turn your goals into reality. Visualizing your success as you're trying to achieve habit change will help kick any self-doubts to the curb. It also keeps your positive habits and the goals you're trying to achieve firmly in your mind. It's so easy to lose your way. It's easy to forget what you're trying to achieve and why, but when you make visualization a daily part of your achievement, you'll be a lot more likely to push through and find success. The irony is, the daily visualization is a habit in and of itself. This maybe should be the first habit you attempt to establish before you try to layer any others. You should make it part of your daily ritual to visualize yourself participating in positive habits and achieving the goals you want to achieve. Soon enough, it'll just be a part of your daily routine, like brushing your teeth. There's something else you can do to ensure it's easier to change your habits and that it really sticks. It's called visualization. Visualization will work for habit change and will also work as a standalone method, whether you've ever read anything else about habit change or not. This is extremely exciting stuff. This is what very successful people from all over the world have used for centuries to change your habits and become more successful. When you use visualization to change your habits and achieve your goals, you're joining the ranks of the most successful and enlightened people in history. Please keep an open mind, even if you've never used visualization in any form in your life before. I think you're going to find that this process is not at all intimidating. In fact, I think you'll find that it's rather freeing. It's going to open doors for you and make it easier for you to become the exact person that you want to become. Visualization is when you see yourself in your mind's eye doing the things you want to be doing. Visualization primes your brain for reality. If you think it, it can happen. That's an extremely simplified version of how it happens, but it's not that far off the mark. It's so much easier to live your ideal life than you've ever realized. It's very much within your grasp. Do you ever have days where nothing seems to go right? It might seem as if the universe is looking down on you and picking you as a target. You drop things, you run late in your schedule, you get into an argument with your spouse, and all of a sudden the thought, "This just isn't my day," starts running through your mind, and things start to get worse and worse and worse. That's visualization at its negative worst. You see things going wrong early on in your day and start expecting more of the same. On the other hand, I'm sure you have days where things just seem to work out perfectly, almost like magic. Everything you touch works. You have this big smile on your face all day long. You attract success in everything you do. This, too, is visualization, because once things start happening, you say to yourself, "What a beautiful day. Everything I touch will turn to gold today." Once you realize there's no magic, but rather the role that your mind movie plays in the process, now you can start playing the right movie every single day for the rest of your life. Practice visualization in a way that makes it inevitable that you'll be able to change your habits and adopt all the goals you want to adopt. If you want to do something, you'll be able to do it. You'll be able to close your eyes and see yourself doing whatever it is successfully and happily every time, making it inevitable that you can make it happen that way in real life too. Start out by doing a visualization session every morning. Add in an afternoon session. Then add in a session where you review and visualize your major goals at night. That's the path to success. You should be doing this at least 3 times a day for 3 different reasons. 1, to review your daily to-do list. 1, to change a sticky habit you're desperate to change. And 3, to review your important and long-term goals. The morning and night visualization sessions are the most important. In the morning, you get your day off in the right frame of mind, and at night before you go to bed, you feed your subconscious with nutrition that it can use where your body's resting, which will prepare you for tomorrow. It's a fertilizer, which will make the seeds develop a solid root system for optimal health and strength. If you practice visualization in this way and make it a daily habit of yours, I promise you'll have no trouble changing your habits in the future. Break your habits down and visualize yourself achieving them. Work hard to make what you visualize a reality. You can and will make this happen if you practice visualization daily. I've used these strategies with others and in other ways with great success. For example, my $5 a day book on starting or improving one's own business. In the book, I related how I started with a simple Post-it note, which I stuck on the outside of my printer, which was beside my computer monitor, so I saw it continually all day long. The note had the daily income number I wanted to achieve. So in seeing it constantly, it was my method of visualizing my new income level. Soon I achieved that income, which had previously been unthinkable in my prior mindset, and now was a part of me. So I then changed the note to a new higher number, visualizing that, and after a while I reached that. Visualizing and the part it plays in your mindset is truly magical. That being said, what you visualize has to be something that your subconscious can believe. If you weigh 300 pounds and you visualize a fit, buff, supermodel type, or Olympic weightlifting champion, it won't work. Yes, you can have those as goals if you want, but you need to visualize something more realistic to begin. Maybe yourself with 30 pounds less weight to start, or with the beginnings of six-pack abs. Or if you're visualizing yourself moving into a new home, instead of seeing yourself in a $25 million mansion, start with something nice in your ideal neighborhood with a beautiful lawn and a pool, if that's what you might enjoy. But remember, like goals, what you visualize should also be specific. It's not going to work if you say to yourself, I want to earn more money. You want to have amounts and dates attached to put real numbers on what you're seeing yourself doing. This all helps your subconscious see reality, even if it isn't your current reality, what your subconscious mind sees and believes you can achieve. Remember, your mindset is able to go towards your visualized, realistic, specific goals like a heat-seeking missile. Let's talk about vision boards first. These can take any form you'd like. The idea is to find and collect images, quotes, words, and so on that represent the habits you'd like to adopt and the goals you'd like to achieve. You can create a poster board and cut out magazine pictures. You can make an online collage. Do whatever works for you. Let's say you want to get into shape. You can buy a fitness magazine and cut out pictures and snippets of articles that represent the habits you want to adopt and the goals you want to reach related to your fitness. You can then glue these representations to the pasteboard. Then you can display the pasteboard where you see it on a regular basis. You see it when you're conscious of it and when you're not. This board will help to work on your mindset and give you food for visualization sessions and more. Doing something like this can really help you achieve your goals. You could even use something modern like Pinterest. Let's say you want to successfully start your own business and become financially free. You could open up a Pinterest account or start a single board on your current Pinterest account where you collect images, articles, and more related to the type of business you want to run. You can find articles and images that represent the success you want to have. You can then make this page your home page on your computer so you see it every time you log on. The idea with both of these models is that you constantly feed your conscious and subconscious mind. This will help you visualize and it will help you change your habits. When you constantly see images related to the goals you want to achieve, you naturally take steps and adopt habits that will make it a lot more likely that you'll be successful. Try it. This is one of the secrets of people who are very successful when it comes to habit change. If you prefer, you can create something called a mind movie instead. This is simply a movie form of what was described above. Some people find these even more motivating because they can feature music and sound and can therefore be stimulating to more of the senses. It's not difficult to create your own mind movie. You can use something as simple as PowerPoint. Gather images you like from around the web legally. Write quotes and phrases you enjoy to go with the images. Find music that motivates you or do a motivational voiceover for your video. You can save your PowerPoint as a movie, a built-in feature, and upload it to YouTube. YouTube has royalty-free music that you can add in right from the site. If you'd rather not add it to YouTube, you can just keep the video file locally on your computer. Watch your movie regularly. Look at your vision board regularly. Make it a habit to look at these things and add to them. Your goals and desired habits will change over time, so these tools should reflect that. Visualization combined with a vision board or mind movie can be a powerful combination for your success. This can help you keep up with visualization and habit change daily. I suggest you develop a game plan for habit change and visualization. It's not enough to just decide that you're going to use visualization or change your habits and accomplish your goals. You need to schedule it in and make a note of it until it becomes part of your life and habits. This usually takes around a month, so decide today that you're going to spend the next month being very conscious of your visualization. Visualization can truly change your life. Trust me, put it to the test for you and let me know what happens.